Hi, and welcome to my sewing room. My name's Leah, and in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a baby quilt inspired by geometric shapes. I'll guide you through the entire process from picking out fabrics all the way down to the very last stitch. I'll have a link to the pattern below if you want to follow along, so let's get started. First, let's talk about the materials you'll need for your baby geo quilt. This version uses 2 colorways, plus a background color. Later on in the video, I'll show you the quilt done in other colorways, in case you want to get a feel of what it could look like with different fabrics. But for now, I'm going to focus on blue and yellow. And each blue and yellow has a medium and a light fabric. For this 2-color version, you'll need the following amounts of fabric: a 1/4 yard of light yellow, a 3-inch scrap strip of a medium yellow, a 1/4 yard of a light blue fabric, and a 3.5-inch by 18-inch strip of a medium blue fabric. I decided on these prints after auditioning a few other shades together and pairing them with different blue and yellow color combos. Blue and yellow is a classic color combo, so it's hard to go wrong picking out shades or prints to play with. For this quilt, I wanted a soft yet bright yellow. So as I was going through my stack of yellows, I took out the ones that were too muted, too busy, or that were too dull. I also wanted to stick with a yellow on yellow look, so I took out the prints that had other little designs in them. I was okay with a little bit of white, but not too much white, and I wasn't going for the cheddar yellow look, so those bolts were out too. I decided on the yellow with stars as my light yellow, and sampled a few other fabrics to go with it as my medium yellow. It was a little easier to narrow it down now that I had the first print picked out, and I decided to go with the slightly darker in tone crackled print. For the blues, I started by pulling a few medium and light prints from my fabric chunk shelf, hoping to be able to use up some of those leftovers. I liked the dark blue swirls, but felt that might be a little too dark next to a light blue. Since I couldn't find what I was looking for in these small scraps, I grabbed some mini bolts and I added those to the mix. After trying out several different combos, I decided on a denim blue with tiny flowers. It has the softness that I was going for. Even after looking at several other prints, I decided to use the denim as my medium print, and I paired it with a lighter floral print. I felt the floral print would go well since they both had flowers in the design. Once I had my blue and yellows picked out, I auditioned a few different backgrounds that I had on hand in my stash, and that I had enough yardage of. You'll need 1 1/3 yards of background. I tried out lighter yellows and blues, and some polka dot prints. The dots would have looked good, but I decided to go with plain white. For the binding, you'll need 1/3 of a yard. You can pick any color you like. You can even use the same as the background and have a white. I decided to go with the same medium blue I had pulled for the rectangles in the quilt. It will help pull out the color of the rectangles, and when I pulled that color out, it just happened to have enough for the rectangles and the binding. You will also need a small piece of batting. The quilt measures 34 by 46, so you want a piece that is a few inches bigger than that all the way around. And since this quilt is small, you only need 1 1/2 yards of backing fabric. Of course, you're going to need some thread. I'm going to use some white thread for the piecing, and either a pastel yellow or a blue for the quilting. If your background color is a little darker, you can use leftover threads in any colors for the piecing. I do that whenever I can to help use up my leftover spools of thread. Once you have all your fabrics picked out, it's time to start cutting. Today, I'm going to start with the background fabric. For the inner sashing, cut 1 4.5-inch strip. Subcut that into 10 4.5 by 2.5-inch rectangles. For the vertical sashing, cut 4 2.5-inch strips. Trim those strips to measure 40.5 inches. For the outer border, cut 4 3.5-inch strips. Subcut 2 strips to measure 40.5 by 3.5 inches for the side outer borders. Then subcut the last 2 strips to measure 34.5 by 3.5 for the top outer border. Next, you need to cut 2 4.5-inch strips. These will be for the yellow triangle blocks. Using the template from the pattern or your favorite triangle and a square ruler, subcut 16 mirror triangle wing sets, or 32 total long-sided triangles. If you're using a printed fabric, you want to make sure you have mirrored pairs, one to flank each side of the triangle. If you fold the fabric in half with the pretty sides up, you can cut 2 triangles at a time and they will come out as mirrored images. From the remaining 4.5-inch strip, cut out 14 4.5 by 1.5-inch rectangles. These will be the sides for the blue rectangle blocks. For the yellow diamond blocks, cut 2 3.5-inch strips. Subcut those into 16 3.5-inch squares, and then cut those on the diagonal to get 32 triangles. If you like to cut big and trim down, you can cut your strip 3 3/4 or even 4 inches. I myself like to cut bigger and trim down when I work with triangles, as they always seem to shrink up on me when piecing. From the remaining 3.5-inch strip, cut 2 1-inch by 18-inch strips for the background of the blue rectangle block. Now it's on to the yellow and blue fabric. Using the light yellow fabric, cut 2 4.5-inch strips. Using the template from the pattern or your favorite triangle and a square ruler, Subcut 16 triangles for the yellow triangle blocks. Using the medium yellow fabric, cut 1 2 5/8 inch strip. Subcut that into 8 2 5/8 inch squares. Using the light blue fabric, cut 2 4.5 inch strips. Subcut those strips into 14 4.5 inch squares. Using the medium blue fabric, cut 1 3.5 inch strip and subcut that into 1 3.5 by 18 inch strip. And from your binding fabric, cut 4 2.25 inch strips. Here's everything cut out and ready for sewing. I have attached some labels to my background fabrics to help me remember which is which. I've included those in the PDF file of the pattern, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. And now it's time to sew. I'm going to take all I can to the sewing machine for my first round of sewing. For that, I'll need my triangles and half of the wings, the diamonds and half of the white triangles, and the white and blue strips for the rectangles. To the sewing machine! I'm going to start off by chain piecing half of the wings to my triangles. Next, I'll keep going without breaking the thread and sew the first triangle to my diamonds. Finally, I'll sew one of the long skinny white strips to my blue strip. Once I get all those done, I'll cut the thread and clip all my units. The triangles I want to take to the ironing board and press before I sew on the other side, so I will set those to the side. For the diamond blocks, I'll fold over the first triangle and sew the second triangle to the opposite side. Then I'll sew the other skinny white strip onto my blue strip. With that sewn, I'll cut the thread, I'll clip the chain, and round 1 of sewing is done. I like to stack my projects in rounds and take them to the sewing machine that way. That way, if I need to take breaks, I have good starting and stopping points. I also have good stopping points if I need to finish for the day. I can just stop at the end of the round and put the project away. But today, I have lots of time to sew, so on to the next round. But before I can go back to the sewing machine, I need to prep round 1 for round 2. That means pressing triangles and my blue and white strip set. Then I need to subcut my strip into smaller bits. These are going to be my 7 rectangle blocks that go between the blue square blocks. So I need to subcut 7 rectangles that measure 2.5 by 4.5 inches. The strip should measure 4.5 inches tall. If yours is coming up short, make sure your strips were cut to the right size. Even a tiny bit off can make your block look smaller. As you can see, I cut my blue strip way too small. I didn't realize it until after I had sewn on my white strips. When I flip it over, I realized I had cut it the size that I needed to make my yellow squares at 2 5/8, but it should have been 3.5. So I went ahead and cut the right size, added some white to the top and the bottom, and I measured this one, and this one's 4.5, and now I'm ready to sew cut this strip. Once those are cut, it's time to grab the other wings for my triangles, the other half of the background triangles for my diamond blocks, and the background sides for my rectangles. Once I have that pile ready, it's off to the sewing machine for round 2. Again, I start by adding the second set of wings to my yellow triangles. Then I'll sew one side of the diamond background triangle and one background side onto my rectangle block. I'll clip those, put the triangle blocks to the side like I did in round 1, and add the other sides to my diamond and rectangle blocks. I'll clip the chain again, and round 2 is done. If you like, you can also keep them in a chain and carry them to the sewing machine that way, and press them while they're all connected. And then after they're ironed, then you can clip them and separate them. There's no wrong way here, just personal preference, so pick the method that you like best. A quick press of the blue rectangle blocks, and I can move on to trimming. I have just a little more prep work before I can go on to the next round of sewing. I cut out my white triangles larger than I needed because for some reason, as I mentioned earlier, my triangle is always so wonky, particularly when I'm sewing so many to one piece of fabric. I always do better when I cut big and trim down, and that means I need to trim down these 8 blocks to 4.5 inches. I don't have a specialty ruler for this, but it's easy to line up the points on the yellow square all the way around at 2.25 inches. A quick trim on both sides gives me the perfect size I need. With everything pressed and sewn, I'm ready for the next round. Bigger quilts with more intricate blocks may have more rounds of sewing, but this quilt I was done with my blocks in 2 rounds of sewing. So round 3 will start putting my rows together. And I can do this in 2 different ways. I can sew my fabric blocks color-coded together in sets of 3 to create longer blocks, and then sew those blocks together with sashing to create my column. This will take a few more rounds of sewing if I do it this way. Or I can sew all 5 columns at once in one sitting. I'm going to sew the whole column at once, so I'm going to stack my blocks so I can chain piece them. To help me do this, I'm going to put them on the design wall horizontally. If it helps, you can print the pattern and turn it sideways to help line everything up. The columns alternate with a group of yellow blocks at the top on the odd rows and a group of blue blocks at the top in the even rows. Once I have everything on the design wall, I'm going to pull the first block from each row, starting from the top, and put it on top of the next one. There are only 5 rows total, and I'll stack row 1 and row 2 at the same time. The rest of the blocks I'll stack in one big pile. I'll start with row 3, I'll go all the way down, and then put all of row 3 on top of row 4 and go all the way down that row. And I'll keep doing that until I reach the end. You could stack each row individually if you like, but I like this way as it uses less space, and I know everything is still in the right order to sew. And after I sew row 1 and 2 together, all I have to do is pull the next block off the top of this pile. Here's a closer look at how I do that. This is row 1, row 2, and here's my pile of all the other rows in order and ready to sew. I start off by attaching row 2 to row 1. Then I pull them back, clip the threads. I just have to make sure I put them back in the right order. And now I'm ready for the next block. I know the top of the pile is the top of row 3, and they go in order from there. Also the next 5 blocks, clip it, restack the 5, and keep going and doing that until I've sewn the very last block in this pile. I can double check each block as I go, just in case. I know the pattern has 3 of the same color blocks in a row, then some sashing. A diamond is flanked by 2 triangles, and the rectangle block is flanked by 2 squares. A quick check each time I start a new row can help keep me on track. Once I hit the bottom of the pile, I'm done with round 3 of sewing. A quick press and I put them back on the design wall. You should have 3 rows that start with a yellow set of blocks, and 2 that start with a blue set of blocks. Starting with the yellow, lay them out alternating blue and yellow, leaving some space for the sashing. My 4th round of sewing will be sewing sashing to all the yellow columns. The inner sashing is 2.5 inches wide, and the outer border strips are 3.5. This is where I can check my labels to make sure I grab the right size sashing. I'm going to start with the center row, and I'm going to flank each side of the center column, which has a yellow triangle at the top. I'll also line up a sashing strip on the left side of the first column, and to the right side of the last yellow column. I'll sew those on and give them a good press. You can sew on the outer border strips at this point if you like, but I'm going to wait. I don't want to mix up my columns and end up with a larger sashing strip in the middle instead of on the edge. Once I have my 4 sashing strips sewn on, it's time to start adding the blue columns to the yellow. This will be round 5 of sewing. And again, I'll start with the center column. I'll flank each side with a column that has a set of blue blocks at the top. Even though there is a gap between the blue and yellow blocks with the sashing, and I don't have to line up any points, I still want to make sure they line up horizontally with each other. If they are a tiny bit off, that's okay, but if they are off too much, my eye will see it when I look at the quilt. So to help me line them up, I will lay the blue column on top of the sashing that's sewn to the yellow column. I'll fold the blue column back just a little bit so I can see the start of the yellow row. I want to make sure the top and the bottom of each colored section are all running along the same imaginary line all the way across. If it's off a bit, I'll shift it, and when I have it where I want it, I'll put a pin in it to hold it in place. Another round of sewing and pressing, and I'm ready for round 6. This time I'm going to add the 2 outer yellow columns. I will attach them to each side of the center panel I've just created. I know I need to have sashing against my blue columns, and since I didn't add the outer border to these pieces yet, it's easy to know which side goes where. I'll lay the strips on top of the center panel, adjust the alignment, and pin. I'll do that to both sides, and then I'll go to the sewing machine for round 6 of sewing, and I'll sew both sides at the same time. A quick press, and I have my inner quilt top done. For round 7 of sewing, I added the side borders, and round 8 finished it off with the top borders. I decided to switch out my backing. The first one I pulled with the flowers was cutting it too close even for me. I only had 1 inch on each end. So I grabbed this blueprint and I pressed it. It was the perfect size. The quilting stage can vary on time depending on the type of quilting you do. I want this quilt to be used up and worn out, so I'm going to do some all over meandering. It's quick and still looks good. I decided to go with the pastel blue thread as I liked how it pulled out the blue blocks and how it looked against the white background. Would you consider the quilting a round of sewing? I did finish it in 1 sitting, or in 1 standing, since I stand at this machine. And if so, the quilting is round 9, and round 10 adds the binding. And with that, I have a finished quilt. I did time myself on this project to see how long it would take. I started the timer after I picked out my fabrics, from the first cut to the last binding stitch. It took me right around 3 hours to finish the quilt. Here's my breakdown of times. Cutting took 26 minutes. Round 1 took 13.5 minutes. Prepping and sewing round 2 took 20 minutes. Prepping and sewing round 3 took 38.5 minutes. Prepping and sewing round 4 took 13.5 minutes. Prepping and sewing round 5 was 4.5 minutes. Prepping and sewing round 6 was 16 minutes. Prepping and sewing round 7 was 5 minutes. Prepping and sewing round 8 was 4 minutes. Round 9, which was the quilting, took me 36 minutes. And round 10, to add the binding, took me 26 minutes. I'd say 3 hours is a pretty quick quilt. Not only do I like a quick quilt, I love seeing it in other colorways. Here's a pink and yellow version. Not only did I swap out the pink, but I swapped out the color placement, mixing the yellow and pink between my diamonds and rectangle sections. This next one features 4 different colors instead of just 2. I just bought this fun floral print on sale, and I thought it would make a cute baby geo quilt if I mixed it with some pink, yellow, and some blue. I ended up using the same blue from my blue and yellow version. I also added a couple extra borders to make the quilt a little bigger and to show off more of that cute floral print. Finally, since fall is coming and Halloween is just around the corner, I decided to see what it would look like in orange and black. I'm loving this Halloween vibe. I did add a border onto this Halloween one as well, and it looked good in my EQ mock-up, but using the same jack-o'-lantern print as I did in the square blocks was just too much for me, so I took it off. Maybe a different orange print might look better, but for now I'm going to stick without a border and do a dark oranger binding of this one. Which version is your favorite? I love Halloween fabrics, so right now, this Halloween one is coming in the top for me. But the green and the pink one is coming in at a close second. I'm thinking a Scrappy version would be fun too, and it could help me use up some of my scraps. If you made this quilt, what color combo would you use? Let me know in the comments below. And thanks so much for watching, and until next time, happy sewing.